In this video, I'll talk about a particular point relating to determination of cost of acquisition for computing capital gain, where there is a chance that you might just make a mistake and lose out on marks. So as you know that for computing capital gain, you need to take the full value of consideration and then reduce the cost of acquisition, cost of improvement, and then you get the amount of capital gain. And the law says that you are allowed to substitute the fair market value as on 1st April 2001 with the cost of acquisition. Okay, so let's take case 1. In case 1, you say acquire a capital asset on 1st January 2001 for rupees 10,000, and on 1st April 2001 you see that the fair market value goes up and it becomes 12,000. So the law comes in and it says that, look, instead of 10,000, we will allow you to take the benefit of fair market value, and therefore you can take the cost of acquisition as 12,000 instead of actual 10,000. So in this case, you take the cost of acquisition as 12,000. Okay, and the logic is that the indexation starts itself from 2001 2002, that means from this date. Okay, before this the indexation is not applicable because the base year for indexation of 100 starts from this particular date. So if you had acquired the asset before this particular date, then what happens to the inflation that has occurred all through this time till 1st April 2001? Okay, because you don't get the benefit of indexation. So the government says that the fair market value substitution on this date takes care of all the inflation that has occurred till the time you held the capital asset till this date, which you acquired much before this date. Okay, so you become happy and it's fair enough. After this date, for whatever period of time you hold the capital asset, the indexation takes care of the inflation part. Okay, so every year the cost inflation index increases and therefore the indexation takes care of the inflation part, and it automatically brings up your cost of acquisition to the fair market value, which is basically as a result of adjustment on account of inflation. So there is no problem in case 1 that if you have acquired the asset before 1st April 2001, you can substitute the fair market value and treat it as the cost of acquisition if it is higher than the actual cost of acquisition. Now look at case 2. In case 2, you acquired the asset on 1st May 2001 for 10,000 rupees. You now realize that this actual cost is actually less than the fair market value, which was on 1st April 2001, which is 12,000 rupees. And therefore you say that, look, this asset was actually in existence on 1st April 2001. It was held by someone else. Okay, and the fair market value was higher than the cost at which I acquired, and therefore I should be allowed to take 12,000 rupees as my cost of acquisition. Now, is this logical? No, this is not logical. This is not correct. In such case, you cannot take the benefit of fair market value because you actually acquired the asset on 1st May, which is after 1st April. So the point to note is, if you acquire the asset after 1st April 2001, you cannot substitute the fair market value and you cannot treat it as cost of acquisition even if it is higher than your actual cost of acquisition. So in case 2, your cost of acquisition will remain as 10,000 rupees. So what we need to keep in mind is, in case of asset acquired before 1st April 2001, you can take the cost of acquisition as higher of cost of acquisition, which is the actual cost, or the fair market value as on this date. Okay, and actual cost of acquisition is taken for asset acquired on or after this date, and in such case you cannot substitute the fair market value. So be careful if in exam there is a situation where you have acquired the asset after this particular date and the examiner tries to trap you by also giving the fair market value as on this particular date, then don't make the mistake of taking the fair market value as your cost of acquisition if it is higher than your actual cost. Hope this is clear. All the best to you.